Welcome to episode 36 of The Cringe. Today we are recording from Westfield, New Jersey in a really nice apartment studio, or actually it's just an apartment. And I'm joined with Josh, aka Mr. Hollywood. And our special guest is Christian Zeron, the founder of the popular YouTube channel and web shop called Theo Harris. They have nearly 30 million views on YouTube, over 131,000 subscribers, and the business generates around 2 to 3 million in revenue a year. Welcome to the show, Christian.
Thank you guys for having me. What's good?
Wait, hold on. I thought we were interviewing Theo, or at least Harris. Did you get catfished again?
Oh, yeah, I think I did. I think I just drove 1,700 miles and got catfished. So my first question to you, though, Christian, is why did you decide to do this show? Do you know who we are and what we do to people? Because we're degenerate.
I'm ready. It's a challenge. I'm ready to swat away.
All right.
We're good.
Okay, he's good. Yeah.
I'm not worried.
He's got these goalie pads on.
I'm not worried, guys.
We're a different kind of watch podcast, so
exactly.
we like to have fun.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I'm happy to be here, guys.
Okay, great. Before we get into anything, let's do a little wrist check.
Yeah.
Christian, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm wearing a Cartier tank normal. Yeah, this is great. The original tank. You know, I think it's the tank that that looks more like the tank itself, right, than the Renault tank than anything else. It's the original.
Classic.
Very cool.
Yeah, I was at the Cartier building store yesterday
on Fifth Avenue.
Yeah, it was awesome.
The mansion.
It was dope. Yeah,
crazy.
What you got on, Josh?
I got on my new-ish Explorer.
That's the one I let you have, yeah.
The definitive.
No, you didn't. They called me and I passed it on to you.
I bullied the AD into selling this to me.
36?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I asked for it and got it 2 days later.
Nice.
It's actually a true story.
It's a very true story. It's great.
2 days later. And then, of course, I got the Oris ProPilot X on. This thing's fucking huge, but it's light.
One of the most incredible watches.
I'll give you $2,500 for it.
39.
No.
I'll do 39.
No, I'm not
what would you give me for it?
I don't know what it's worth. I have no clue. I'd give you $500 less than it's worth, though.
Good answer.
We're on the same page.
That's it.
So I want to call it the fact that we are in Westfield, New Jersey. Westfield is the home to The Watcher, the infamous prank that went viral in 2014 in which a mystery person or persons wrote ominous letters to the new homeowners of a Westfield house. There's even a whole Netflix series about it. And your apartment's actually only a few minutes away, so that kind of raised our suspicions a little bit.
I might be the watcher.
Yeah, we hired a private eye, and the evidence is piling up, Christian.
Yeah, that's
you want to admit to everyone why you've been watching that house for so many years?
Like OJ, if I did it.
Is that why you changed your name?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What a Netflix series, huh? Jeez.
Yeah. Well, so why don't you rename your web shop? Just embrace it and just be the Watcher's
the Watcher
Watches.
Watch Shop.
Yeah. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Actually, you can make a custom Watcher's Watches
might be
watch.
A better idea. I know that's actually because it's kitschy and dumb, but the world would love it.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think it's on
perfect.
And once you get somebody's address for mailing them a watch, you send them random letters a few times a year.
Oh, that's brilliant.
I like that. So we're going to conduct this interview in 3 parts. Part 1 is where we talk about the man behind the brand. Part 2 is all about Theo Harris, the business. And finally, part 3 is where we explore big business, expansion, diversification. So part 1, the man. We like to get to know our guests with a few icebreakers. So the first icebreaker is tell us 2 truths and a lie, and we're going to try to guess one of the lies. I'll go first so you can think about what you want to say, unless you want to go first.
Wait, we all have to do it?
Yeah.
I'm totally unprepared. Okay, yeah, okay. I think I'm good.
You good?
Yeah.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 truths and 1 lie. 1, I was born in Malaysia. 2, I lived in New Jersey for a year. And 3, I just got the call from the Royal Oak store. I'm getting allocated.
That's a lie.
That one's definitely a lie.
Okay, that 100%. Is a lie. Actually, they're all 3 lies. I fucked that one up.
I've never even been to Malaysia.
Yeah. None of that shit is true.
None of it's true.
Yeah.
You blew the game.
I just fucking, off the cuff. All right, you go, Josh.
Okay. Okay, yeah. I'm a leading Hollywood star. That's why they call me Mr. Hollywood. I was in a ska band, and I love 1980s Volvo station wagons.
I'm going to let you go because I know the lie. I know him. I know this man.
I mean, the station wagon is just too specific to be lie. It has to be true.
So you think this man's a leading Hollywood actor? What did you say? Hollywood?
Is that what you said?
Yeah. I'm a leading man in Hollywood.
Oh, there you go. That's got it, right? I mean, that's a lie, right?
I mean, his nickname is
I'm just a complete... I'm completely
He
ignorant
is.
here.
I think. Yeah, that is the lie, right?
That is the lie.
But you're an aspiring Hollywood actor
Sure. Yeah.
in some Amazon B
Yeah.
side
Web
films.
shorts.
Is that true?
Web shorts.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I guess.
How
about you, Christian?
I was pinned down while drunk and given a tattoo by a Navy SEAL. I lost my virginity at 12, and I have a collection of cashmere sweaters.
Okay, the cashmere sweater, that's the truth. The other two, that's what it comes down to.
I think wait, what were they?
Lost his virginity at 12, and he got held down and tattooed by a Navy SEAL while he's drunk.
I want that one to be true, but I feel like it's a lie.
Oh, it's true.
What is it?
The 12,
what is it?
12-year-old virginity is the lie.
I was 13.
Wait. So what about the tattoo?
Yeah, it's a true story.
Where is it?
What is it?
I don't wear underwear, otherwise I'd show it to you, but it's right on my leg, and it's like these hatchets that a lot of SEALs carry around, and it's like a friendship thing that they give to people when they're
We
drunk.
also learned that he doesn't wear underwear.
Ooh, that's another truth.
Yeah.
3 truths in one lie. I did 3 lies, and you actually, Josh, you did it right, though.
I did it right. So I got another one. Another one. This is a good one. I learned this one in college. So we're gonna start out. I want you to say, we'll do the two of you, and then I guess I'll join in too. But start out with what was your least favorite chore growing up, and why? And the "and why" is important because we'll come back to it.
Oh, geez.
So
For me, mowing the lawn.
Mowing the lawn. Why?
Yeah. Well, it was fucking huge, and we illegally dumped all the grass in our swamp.
Okay, cool.
So I felt like I was committing crimes every time.
All right, yeah. Mine was raking leaves and like bagging them up because you get a bunch of like little cuts on your wrist, and it's really uncomfortable.
I didn't do chores really growing up, which is bad for character. But when I did do chores, I was at a great uncle's house, and he used to make me mow. The mowing part I didn't mind; it was on a machine, so it was fun. But the infestation of bees in the garage was so incredible, and he would call me horrible words for being afraid of the bees.
Okay.
So I would leave this experience feeling like just the biggest piece of shit.
So he didn't just take care of the bees?
No, they didn't bother him. They didn't bother him.
Okay, so make sure you'll remember the why, okay? Because now we're all going to go back and we're going to say, I hate sex because, and we're going to give the reason why we hated those chores.
What was my one? Because it's too big?
Yeah, it was too big, and you used to put all the grass in the swamp.
What was yours?
I hate sex because I hate getting those little cuts on your wrist, and it's really uncomfortable.
I hate having sex because my great uncle is just always ridiculing me.
Oh man!
Holy shit!
So this kind of transitions into our next little bit here. We see you recently, post a story about how you love drinking at your parents' house. And a lot of your old content was done kind of like, it seemed like in your backyard and stuff like that. And so the internet wants to know, do you still live with your parents? I mean, we kind of already know the answer.
We already know the answer.
I lived with my parents until like a year and a half ago.
Oh, okay.
So they're not that far off.
Really?
Yeah. I lived in the attic. It was this awesome, attic. It was super cool. I didn't want to move. I got a girlfriend, and I was like, I should move. So I moved out. Actually, after our first date, I moved out.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a drug. Huh?
It's a hell of a drug. So now she's never here, so I'm just always alone in this apartment.
Now you got the dog with you.
You got the dog.
There you go.
You got a buddy.
So, Christian, we also do some pre-game research on our subjects.
Yes.
And I'll admit, we may not be the most accurate or professional researchers.
Right.
And we want to actually check our facts during the interview.
I love
It's
it.
like an efficient thing, right?
Yeah.
We thought that was the most efficient way to conduct
We'll just
the
figure
interview.
out what's true or not
Let's
as
do
we
it.
go along.
True or false, basically, is the next section.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
Josh, what did you find about Christian over here?
Okay, yeah. So Theo, Christian. Our research indicates that you're very passionate about Breitling. So what is it about modern Breitling that gets you so captivated?
To take this question seriously for a second before I go into not serious, I actually do like a couple of their watches. I love the Premier in pistachio, and I love the Split Second in blue. Fantastic watches. The brand is devoid of any identity. The brand is making a ton of money. God bless them, and they will inevitably be dumped for a huge, capital profit pretty soon. And I couldn't care less about the brand.
You know, it kind of like reminds me, like when we were in New York a few months ago, we were at the big Breitling boutique, and they had this like amazing display, and it had like all of like the wonderful, perfect, wonderful models of vintage Breitlings.
Yes.
And then the horrible modern counterparts of them right next to it.
Yeah,
You're like, here's what you missed out on.
You know what Breitling reminds me of? You know, it's almost like the really good-looking guy at the bar that has no game, right? Because their story is awesome. Right? Look at IWC. What's the IWC story? Nothing, Nazis, nothing, right? So it's weird, right? It's a tough story to tell. Like a lot of brands, Longa, okay, Resurrection, but again, a lot of Nazis. The stories, their raw material isn't that great. Breitling is about, you know, competition, you know, often against oneself. It's about, you know, digging to the bottom and of your stomach and just coming up with the best and becoming the best. Fantastic. Why can't they tell the story? Right? I'm 5'9". I'm not that good looking, but I've got game, you know, and Breitling doesn't have it. Whereas some of my buddies, they're 6'1", they're super handsome, they're in great shape. I wear sweaters. They don't even have to wear shirts, right? but I'm the one, but I'm the one that doesn't have like nothing behind the eyes, you know? So that's how I look at Breitling.
So we'll call that one like half true. Lot of passion there. Love-hate relationship.
Yeah, that's a little half true.
I love them, they hate me. That's exactly.
I like that. All right, we got another fact check.
Yep.
This one our intern did. He thinks that you traded a 67 London Cartier Crash for a modern day solid gold Breitling chronomat.
Okay, again, half true.
Whoa.
No, I sold a 1991 Cartier Crash during COVID for I think I made 50, like I did double my money, you know. I think I made like 40 grand, you know, and I was super happy. I sold it for $80,000, and today they're worth 240,000, and that was just a year and a half ago. So
you still came out ahead.
the biggest asshole in the entire world.
But hey, you still made. That's
everyone always
yeah,
is.
Thanks, Dick.
Yeah, everyone. You can't
Come back
tell.
to the not $250,000.
You can't tell. You can't tell
right now. You know?
But then you bought the chronomat after that.
You've got this kind of like hate for Breitling, which I think people know, but you got a big love for Cartier. It sounds like. What if you had a Grail Cartier, what would it be? And like, what is it about Cartier that does it for you?
Oh, geez. I mean, so the Grail would be a Crash. It would be an original Crash. You know, the larger model. The Paris I didn't love because of its size. And I love small watches. I'm wearing a small watch, you know, but I found it actually too small. But so it would be a Crash. That being said, I think that one of the most interesting Cartiers of all time was they used to make the Cintre in sterling silver. And that is just so, first of all, it's a watch that they rarely made. And then they made it in a metal that they no longer make watches in. How fucking cool is that?
Although we did get a sterling silver Tudor. I guess it's not sterling, but it's silver.
I love that. I love that watch.
That's great.
Great watch.
I wish it had a bracelet.
Yeah, that would be cool.
What type of watch guy are you?
Okay, watch guy am I? I mean, I'm definitely, I'm clearly a vintage. I only have like one modern watch.
Is that the Pepsi?
The Pepsi I just got. Yep. Love that watch. No, I'm a vintage small, you know, dress watch guy. I mean, you know, the only watches I saw as a kid were those watches. All my uncles, you know, they only wore small gold watches. That was what a gentleman wore, and they just never up their style. They just stayed in 1965. So when I was a kid, they still wore slacks on a Wednesday, and they still wore dress shoes, and they still wore silk, you know, polos, you know, and they wore vintage Piagets. So that's what I thought cool was.
I feel like those watches probably meant something more to them too, right? Like usually you get them as a gift or to commemorate something more than you would today.
I think it was
maybe.
also like a cultural thing. Did you guys watch like Mad Men and everything? Okay, so obviously Don Draper represented that era of gentlemen in America, and then did kind of poorly once the 70s hit. Those guys buckled down in Bensonhurst and Bath Beach and said, "Fuck you hippies and you Wall Street jerk-offs. Go buy whatever fucking garbage you want. We're sticking right over here with our Piagets." And that was a matter of a cultural stand. Then they all moved to the suburbs, but you know, they still dress like that, though, you know.
So what would you say your spirit watch is? Like, what if there was a watch that embodied you? What do you think it would be?
Oh, geez, a watch that embodied me. I would have loved if I was quicker with a joke there. I was trying to think, you know, I was trying to think of something funny. I don't know. If a watch. I think that I am far more likely to build my personality around a watch than a watch is likely to build its design around me. You know, so you know it's kind of the opposite.
Okay. All right. How about for us? What do you think our spirit watches are?
John Mayer G-Shock.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
That's an interesting one.
What a prick.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. What does Steve Aoki wear? I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Long hair Asian dude. What's up? I know how to party, though. I know how to party.
You know, I don't know. I mean, I could really see you in a yellow gold date. I mean, I really could.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably the most dignified response he's got to that question.
36 millimeter vintage watch, you know, Uncle Buck style, you know. I mean, that's...
Because we've heard before Big Bang.
Big Bang.
Big
No,
Bang.
come on. Your hair's too conservative. You know, you don't look like a jerk off.
Today.
Yeah, today. Just get him drunk and then we'll see. Okay, so being that this is literally the last day of 2022, I have to ask, what was your most notable watch purchase of this year? And what's going to be your next most notable watch purchase of 2023?
Great question. What does notable mean? It's tough. I mean, like, I really had been looking for a yellow gold Cartier Carré, the Gordon Gekko watch from Wall Street. I love that watch. I've been looking for it for years. They're very hard to find. They're also expensive. So the fact that I was able to get one this year was, it was like a treasure hunt, like victory, more than it was a monetary thing. I was really, really happy and proud that I got it. I mean, I bought the GMT. It was more money, you know, and I love it. But you know, but I love that watch for a different reason. But the Cartier was definitely the, you know, wow, I can't believe I actually found that thing, and it's unpolished. It's fucking perfect.
So how about for next year?
Next year, I really don't. I'm not looking at any expensive watches. I mean, talking relatively speaking, for next year. I mean, I'm sure I will end up. Because the funny thing about, you know, particularly if you're into vintage, you never know what you're going to find. And then when you find it, you have to buy it. But my philosophy is I have to buy it, and then if I want to sell it, I sell it. But I have to buy it because it's here. You know, I'll show you guys some stuff later. But I found this remarkable Patek Tiffany Ellipse with its original Tiffany box. It's fucking this stuff's crazy. How do you not buy it when it comes across the desk?
Yeah.
If you want to sell it later, sell it later. But just to be able to hold it, examine it, say, wow, I can't believe this is in my hand and its original strap is untouched. What did they do to this watch? No one ever wore it. It's fucking cool, man.
We're going to get into that whole sourcing question later.
Yeah.
Even though I want to jump into that, let's have some patience with that one, because it's probably can go on for like an hour of what cool stuff he's found.
Hopefully.
Yeah. In addition to some research, we have a friend that works at Google, and he allowed us to peek at your browser search history.
Oh, could you imagine?
And I noticed in your search history...
For a second, I thought you were serious. Oh, my God.
And we noticed in your search history the terms Teddy Baldessar and net worth came up 10 times the last month. Who is Teddy, and what's your obsession with him?
I saw that on like some watch page, and I started crying. Like, that's brilliant. That was brilliant. Yeah, Teddy's a good guy.
Are you friends with the teddy bear?
No, not at all. But when I see him at an event, we're super nice. I think that we both have an agreement that if we are at the same event, we'll sit next to each other because we have a lot of similarities and things like that. But like I said before, I really don't keep in touch with anyone in the watch industry.
Do you have any like no watch industry enemies or rivals or anything like that?
I have 1,000. Oh yeah.
Well, that's the thing. You did mention in a previous interview that, and I think this is something your uncle taught you, is that you like having enemies to rally your business around.
Yeah.
Is that still kind of like?
Well, it was actually my dad.
Oh, your dad. Okay.
My dad was, you know what, they hired like corporate, you know, sales training people, you know, whatever. And there was this guy, Jim Craig, who was the goalie for the 1980 Miracle on Ice, you know, hockey team. And he did a whole like week immersive thing with my dad's company. Not that my dad owned it, my dad was an employee. And he was talking about the importance of an enemy, real or imagined. And I said, okay. So my dad like took that and brought it home. My dad was already a pretty angry guy, but I definitely pushed him over the edge, you know?
So if you could hang out with one person from horology, you know, history, present, whatever, who would it be, and what do you think you guys would be doing?
Good question. Oh, geez. So it comes down to like, do I want to pick the brain of someone, or do I want to have a lot of fun?
Wherever, wherever you want
to take it.
Yeah, that's a good question. Geez. With the stipulation that they know that that anything they say will remain private.
Ooh,
with the stipulation that because if someone knows me, they'll trust that it will remain private. But if they don't know me, they're just going to give the same bullshit spiel they always give. It would either be R.L. Box or John Goldberger.
Little inside baseball.
I think that they would have a lot of very interesting things to say that they would never say to the public. ever.
Yeah, we've
Or
heard
to a
some
stranger.
stories about some of the auction houses, so I think that would be interesting.
Because you go to like Antiquorum and everyone knows that they're scumbags, so it's not even that interesting. Whereas with RO Box, this is a leader of the industry, a titan who's done a million great things. But I'm more than sure he's aware of some very very dark secrets. Whether he was a conspirator in them or not is different, you know. Yeah. But he could probably tell me some juicy stories. Yeah,
that's a good one.
And also corroborates some things that we've heard.
Oh yeah, it does. We've heard some firsthand accounts of one of those auction houses.
Yeah. We don't want the auction house mob to break anyone's knees.
Yeah, we don't want to get served papers either. So,
jeez, what a mess.
So, who's the most popular person on your phone, and can you call them right now to ask if they want to be on our show? Because we're looking for our next guest after this.
In the watch industry?
Sure, anyone.
Yeah.
No, anyone.
That's a good question. I promise I'll give you guys your next
Or are you the most popular person?
No. People are weird, though. People are weird. You know, like just the same way, you know, you said you never want to get papers. People are weird. People are odd, you know?
Okay. We are.
We're fucking weird as shit.
I've met some absolutely bizarre fucking uber famous, uber rich people that I'm like, wow, you are deeply, deeply troubled. You have serious issues. Oh my God.
Okay, let's jump to your formative years.
Yes.
In college, you did Christian studies.
Yep. Catholic studies. Sorry. Is that because you want to become God one day? Well, if you're gonna model yourself after somebody, you know.
That's a good person.
That was an old Woody Allen joke. No. I studied religion because I wanted to be a lawyer, and that scored very well on the LSAT, that major.
And so, why start a successful watch stealing business that brings in millions a year? Why not attend law school to become a public defender and be like $200K in debt?
I actually dated a lot of girls in that same exact situation. Yeah,
oh man,
yeah, it's bad. So then when they come home for the holidays, you know, it's always like, tell me about your life. I'm like, it's great. Are you kidding me?
So in all seriousness, we did do some deep research to provide color for this interview. And we actually spoke with Professor Inez. Sorry, I'm uncultured. I'm an idiot. And she had some remarkable things to say about you. And I quote, "Yes, Christian Zeron, 2016, is one of my best students, incredibly innovative, curious, and with multi-layered interest for business and the Western intellectual tradition and thought. Christian won the first place of the Stillman School of Business Pirates Pitch 2016 for his startup company, Theo Harris, and was named the audience choice for the most popular finalist business idea. Pirates Pitch is the Stillman School's version of Shark Tank, and he was the first humanities student to win. So how did it feel to mop the floor with the business bros of your school?
Oh, it was fucking great. You know what the best part was? That last minute, because that third place as well, that was an audience choice, right? So the business school jerk off professors blasted out to keep it outside of the room, blasted out to the whole school to start going online and voting. And I said, you fucking scumbag, crony capitalist motherfuckers. Man. So I texted all my frat friends, and they blasted it out, and all Alpha Chi Rho delivered it to me, baby.
Nice.
So, first place was on merit, third place they started to steal, so I stole it. Yeah, fuck them.
So how'd you celebrate the big victory, and were the business bros invited?
Yeah, fuck yeah. It was a Henny on me, you know.
All right,
the basketball team was there too. Yeah.
Nice.
So this is a great transition to start talking about Theo and Harris, the business. But before we do, I want to say a few words from our sponsor. Today, we thank Brick Watch Company for sponsoring today's episode. Brick has introduced record-breaking value proposition watches with breathtaking design and signature taste. The Cringe loves Brick Watch Co., and so should you. Get your brick on at your local TJ Maxx.
Oh, did you see the Christmas video he just released?
No.
It was so pathetic. So it was like 2 days, like December 23rd or something. He posted a video on Instagram saying, I'm literally going to write a fucking poem to whoever orders one of these fucking watches, and you're going to get the watch with a poem handwritten from me before Christmas. It was so pathetic.
Was that the one where he's at the skate shop and he's trying to mail them out?
I think we saw he was trying to mail them out.
Yeah, at a skate shop.
Yeah, I didn't see the poem thing. He posted some other video someone sent us, and it was like, He's like, I'm at a fucking skate shop and I'm waiting for the FedEx guy. I got 1 million fucking packages. They got to call a new truck. And I wrote, my hand is fucking sore from writing all these fucking poems.
Yeah.
That's just not true.
And he's like,
totally
we're going to
not.
build this brick by brick.
Brick by brick, baby.
Oh my God, how sad. I mean, I don't feel bad for him, obviously.
Oh, he's going to make a shitload of
He's
money.
fucking
Like,
hand
he
over
already has made a shitload of money. So.
Oh yeah, I mean the dude has killed it with what's it called, but he'll take a bath on these, right? I mean he has to.
yeah.
I mean, come on. You
Sell
know?
one watch that pays for like the whole
the
whole lot of them. All right, so part 2, let's talk Theo and Harris, the meat and potatoes of the episode. Christian, you started Theo and Harris during your time at Seton Hall. You were 19 years old, and your mom started pushing you to get a job. And what transpired was the creation of a business plan that won you that Pirates Pitch Award. What started off as a school project took off astronomically. How gratifying was it to see a project you dreamt up in college actually take off?
It's incredible. I mean, and I'll like, to be totally like honest, I can count on one hand how many times over the last 7 years it's really felt incredible. Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe one time before Christmas, like 4 years ago, like having a drink with my dad, just finish up the P&L for the month. And I was like, wow, this is amazing, you know? But that's like one time. Like it's really like, it's not, it should be like a great story. It's a great story. But even like others, it's just, it doesn't, maybe you guys can relate. I mean, what really tastes that as good as it sounds it might taste? You know what I mean? Like who has that wisdom to like always understand how incredible what's going on, you know? That's, you know what I mean? That's like the deep answer, but it's true. Like I'm very happy. I'm a happy guy. Like it's a great business. I'm very lucky. But you know, I don't know. It doesn't register always. It's not that cool in my mind. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I could have way more money if I like doing less if I just like invested in crypto, like and then pulled out.
Well,
like,
no, at the right time.
You don't know. You could have way less if you invested in crypto, depending.
But you know what I mean? It's like, wow, like what a bizarre age, you know, what a bizarre, not age to be at, meaning era of time, you know, all these other guys plugged in and made tens of millions and I've been busting my ass for 7 years. You know what I mean? I do very well, but it's not even close. You know, it's wild.
I mean, it's a pretty incredible story. I think like getting ready for the interview and looking into you guys and what you did, it is pretty impressive. I mean, like a lot of folks tend to have the idea of like, oh, he, you know, his parents helped him buy into this company or something like that.
They wish. My parents are incredible, but no, they didn't give me $1 for the company. They didn't. Yeah.
Did you get anything from the Pirates pitch or?
I won $6,500.
Oh, nice.
So I started the business with $9,300, which was like money I'd saved from like birthdays and then some babysitting, and then I won the $6,500, and that's it. Like it's really all mine. Like, you know, which is crazy. It's very cool. You know.
So let's talk basic stats of the business too. So you mentioned I mentioned 2 to 3 million of revenue, and I got that from previous interviews. So I don't know how accurate that is, but is that purely watch sales or is that also advertisement from your YouTube?
That was purely watch sales at the time. And the reason why that number varied so much was because if I went partners on a, you know, Nautilus at the time, you know, for 80,000, that, you know, so then it sounds like you made another 100 grand, but I really only made 5. So it was very misleading, you know. But no, the bulk of our business, the reliable $2 million, as opposed to the next million, which was kind of a little bit of fluff, a lot of flipping, like super high end watches that you don't really make a lot of money on.
Like the net profit.
Exactly. The real money was made in that first 1.5 to 2 million. That's where the business is built.
So how many watches do you sell a year?
I mean, it depends. Like this year, I couldn't even make up a number. I have no idea. It wasn't as many. I started an ad agency this year, and that agency did incredibly well. But I pulled away from generating the content that was responsible for selling the most watches. This year, now we hired more people, and now we'll be doing that content again. And it's great. I can't wait to sell more watches. It's fantastic.
Do you see a slowdown coming at all? I know you said you sold a few, but it sounds like you did something else.
No, I don't. Maybe that's optimistic bias, but I've handled my business that way forever. You know, now, okay, would I be investing a fortune into inventory right now? No, but I have so much inventory that I could outlast the winter for 2 years. You know, it wouldn't matter.
You're like a watch squirrel, just squirreling away those.
But that's honestly how, like, that was the reason why we ended up making really good money in those first 5 years, because I literally just kept buying, because I was afraid of the day that, it sounds funny, I mean, but I was afraid of the day that the watches would be dry. And so I would buy everything. You know, I never really had more than, you know, let's say $50,000 or $60,000 in the bank account, the business account, but I would have, you know, multiples and multiples and multiples of that in inventory at numbers that I thought were safe. And that was true.
So you just stash them around Westfield, kind of dig a little hole.
There are watches in safety deposit boxes that have haven't been opened in 4 years.
Little sidebar. I am fucking lit right now. Did you put like GHB in this fucking drink? I am feeling super drunk.
He gave us like 6. He was like, "You guys want a drink?" We're like, "Yeah, sure, why not? Let's get a Negroni."
We started off with water, I think, was the choice. And then we're like, oh, maybe coffee. Oh, okay, yeah, let's get Negronis.
Well, he said, well, I'm going to have a drink. So, you know, when in Rome.
Yeah, exactly.
He poured us like 16-ounce Negronis.
Well,
Jesus Christ.
That's lunch at the Zerons.
They're delicious, though, by the way. Master mixologist.
Yeah, actually, that's pretty
good. Thank you very much.
Lengthy list of accolades. There's got to be a lot that goes into kind of like filling your store with watches. It sounds like you've, like you said, you've got a huge inventory. You've been all over the place trying to pick things up. Seeing as how we are watch cringe, we are a little bit more interested in the cringy side of things. So what is the most cringy watch you've come across in your dumpster diving for vintage watches?
I mean, that's a good question. Again, looking at what direction do I want to take with cringe? You know, there have been some terrible, like, I don't want to be cliche and say you know, Frank Mueller, you know, but those can be kind of cringy. But I guess like some of the redials that I've seen are just super cringy. Like they didn't even try. It's just Omega spelled with crayon on a dial. and someone's like, look, it's my grandfather's watch. And I'm like, your grandfather's an idiot.
You know, why is it always an Omega that has the worst redial?
Did your grandfather lose his eyesight in Vietnam? That's horrible. That's horrible watch. And I'm like, that's incredible. And he's like, can you find me a new dial? And I'm like, do you know how much time that would take? Do you know how much money you would need to pay me? Hey, the dial's only worth $400. Just
we
go
got
find
a
one for
guy
yourself.
who has a stash of vintage Omega dials. So if you ever need one, we can hook you up.
There you go. Does he sell them?
Yeah.
I could use a couple. When I say a couple, I think like 3.
So you got 3 heartbreaks. I mean, because these kids, they're coming to you with, my grandpa's thing, and then you got to break their heart. Like, dude, this is not like you can just go get a replaced part. Like,
horrible.
You got to source
so
it.
Sad.
Right?
Yeah. Do they cry?
You know, I had a guy. It's a true story. I had a guy come in, meet, and we had a great time, great lunch. He was totally fanboying, which was funny because at the time we didn't have any subscribers, so he was just like he was probably fanboying over the fact that like he found someone else that loved watches. You know what I mean? Like that, and you know that like first time you meet someone else that has a common interest, whatever. And he told me about how meaningful this Omega was to him. True story. And I said, that's an incredible watch, black, you know, gilt dial, fantastic Omega, Seamaster, phenomenal watch. 2 weeks later, he's like, hey, can we meet up again? I was like, I'm a little bit busy. Like, you want to meet up in like maybe another month? You know, I don't have time to meet up every 3 weeks, you know? And he's like, well, it's kind of important. I was like, all right. He's like, I need to sell this watch. I'm like, but it's your grandfather. You cried about it last time we met. And he's like, no, I got to get rid of it. And I was like, well, do you need money? Like, do you need like, because it's only worth, let's say $600 at the time. I said, I'll give you the $600, like on a loan. Like, I don't want to take your grandfather's watch. I feel bad, you know? And he was like, yeah, honestly, I don't think it really meant that much to him anyway. I'm like, what
oh, wow.
What the fuck?
So you're here trying to take him under your wing and like get him going.
So who's buying this stuff from you, Christian? Who's buying your watches?
Our retail clients. I mean, really, YouTube is the main driver of retail sales. Instagram's a great tool, you know, but YouTube, it's tough to sell. So if you post a watch on Instagram, it will sell because of,
the number of likes.
You're only raising awareness about a watch. It's very difficult to storytell in 1 minute video or through a caption, which I don't really like to write. So YouTube, you've got a captive audience, people that are ready to sit down, pour a drink at the end of a Friday, and listen to you talk for an hour. I could sell you a watch in an hour, but over an Instagram post, it was more about awareness. So I was hoping that we could get you to the either sell you on YouTube or get you to the finish line, and then tomorrow afternoon when you're at lunch and someone posts a photo of that watch, you're reminded from YouTube and you buy it. Yeah. So that's it's like Instagram was like the remarketing tool, you know. That's how I looked at it.
So for you, what is kind of like the worst customer that you got? And you can, you know, we encourage you to use real examples and name names and all that stuff.
And like shipping addresses.
You can give us a hypothetical of like what is the person you do not want to see? Click on the Theo and Harris webpage.
Yeah, I mean, You mean like ethnic background? I'm just kidding.
Whoa!
No. For me, it's you know, the sort of guy that I might want to sit down and talk about watches with for an hour can often be a terrible client because he wants to ask a million questions, and I kind of tell people sometimes, it's like, we're a great retail store. It's a your money's always safe. Like if you have a problem with the watch, we'll just give you your money back. I don't care. Right. Like a lot of, and that's not a compliment to me. That's really more of a dig at other retailers that are holding on to your money for dear life. Yeah. Keep in mind, our inventory is also on the small side, 15,000 and below, generally speaking. The other guys, when you wire someone $50K, you better fucking hope that their character is good, because if a problem comes up, they may not have that $50K to refund you in a month or so. You know what I mean? So for us, I'm looking for, ideal client, very cool, casual dude that likes a Datejust or loves a jumbo tutor or wants a good sub and is not looking for a Berthier, isn't looking for a particular shade of tritium. It's like, dude, this is what we got. This is what we got. We're not Costco. This is a much different sort of business. I love you. I'd love to have a drink with you, but I cannot spend, 30 minutes a day for 6 days in a row talking to you about a watch.
So if you get like some nerd like sends you like, hey, can you throw this on a wishy machine and tell me where it's adjusted?
Yeah, and then the other thing is even like the fucking photos. Can you send me photos in different lighting? I'm like, well, the watch is at the bank. So now I need to go to the bank. And meanwhile, our photography
doesn't the website have
totally professional? It's
professional,
and
everything.
Always a natural lighting photo as well.
Is it kind of like a security thing? Like, oh, let me make sure you have it or something. Like,
maybe.
What the fuck?
I'm like, dude, the watch is at the bank. Okay,
it's not like
fine.
it's Facebook.
I'm not going.
But the
today.
bank is below you.
Yeah, but it's not just this one. Like, they're it's all. I'm like, I gotta go fucking get this thing.
So they're like,
get it.
I want you to go like write your name on a piece of paper with the date, and then you send it to them, and they're like, who the fuck is Christian?
Yeah.
Did you ever post on Watch Exchange on Reddit? No. We're a retail. Because you started before that, though. You started before the whole Watch Exchange anyways.
Yeah, I've never been a Reddit guy. I mean, the only time I've ever gone into Reddit is like if someone's got a thread that's making fun of me, I'll chime in and make fun of me with them. You know what I mean? Like that's it.
So what's the best customer then? I think we probably kind of know, right?
The best customer is a hobbyist that is fairly easily parted with their money, like I am. Like that's how I am. When I walk into a store, I don't ask a million questions. I'm like, oh, this is a cool product. Like it's all kosher. They're like, yeah. And that's not to say that, okay, I'll go into Barney's for argument's sake. Barney's is closed, I think, in the city. But if you go into Barney's, I will buy a pair of shoes without asking a million questions. Would I buy a watch there? No, right? But I know that this is the product that they are selling that I trust. Same thing. You come to this site, you're going to buy a Rolex Explorer. You don't need to ask me a million questions about it. It's what we sell. You see my point? So when I'm buying luxury items, I'm a very easygoing buyer. And I generally like to find those guys as well, generally speaking.
So with the volume of watches that you have, it's incredible that you're doing this with a small team. I think your team's like 5 people.
Yeah.
And your employees seem happy, but I'm curious what your employees actually think of you. Have you ever thought about going on Undercover Boss to get the truth?
put a mustache on, but
you're going to hire me as an intern, and I'll get the facts for you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That would be funny. I pretty much know what everyone would say. Good and bad.
So your mom works for the store as well?
My mom runs the office, so runs all the money of it, runs the shipping, runs everything.
Is that ever like a weird dynamic? Like you flip the script and you're like, I'm the boss now.
Rarely, but sometimes. Like rarely, I'm like, okay, stop with your nonsense. I love you. But okay, sometimes like she'll ask me, or she'll want to vent to me like mother to son, not like employee to employer, about a client. And I'm like, hey, I love you so much. I literally pay you, so I never need to know about this. I don't want to know.
You guys air it out over the Thanksgiving table at all or anything like that?
No. My mom knows that she's
good boundaries.
Your dad gets involved in the business with the YouTube, but not.
Yeah, but that's just purely entertainment. My dad does not get involved in the business
operations
at all.
of the business.
No.
Okay.
So he's talent.
My dad's talent.
All right.
So we wanted to know about the the corporate policies of your business, and what's the work from home policy? What's the benefits like? The 401k, the healthcare. What are your thoughts on employees unionizing?
Yeah, do you give people snacks?
Yeah, listen, we're a Brooklyn-based family in the union. You're going to be met with maybe not a gentle hand, if they start to unionize. Let's just, you ever hear of Jimmy Hoffa? No, I mean, they're all happy. I really like to. I really take a lot of pride in the fact that yes, when the work is really hard, I know it's very hard, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, when it's not an extreme circumstance, I want you to just have the most awesome life. Michael, I coordinate with his girlfriend lives in Denmark, and I coordinate with her when she's going to visit to surprise him. If he can take off on a Friday, that's fantastic. I hope he does. It's same thing for everybody. I want to be the easiest guy to work with.
I would be very concerned if my boss was corresponding with my girlfriend.
Yeah, that's funny. True.
So being a boss probably has its perks, right? You can set your own schedule, expense whatever you want. You can get the intern to get you coffee. And most, above anything else, you have a good answer to the question of what do you do for work? Because you can say that you're a CEO of a $2 to $3 million business, and that you have the power to withhold healthcare from any employees that want to unionize.
That's God. I mean, it's funny when the company was still really small, and girls would ask, "So what do you do?" I was always embarrassed to say I have a watch shop.
Yeah.
Honestly, obviously we diversified into ads. And a lot of the reason was for money, for sure, and it does very well. But the larger reason was really so I could stop saying I sell watches.
Do you refer to yourself as CEO?
No. I say partner a lot. I have an ad firm, and I'm a partner at an ad firm, and it seems a lot larger. Even my business cards, it says partner.
Partner.
So
I heard. I heard you once mention business cards as being trashy. You have business cards.
Yeah, I have business cards now. Yeah. I do.
So you mentioned in a previous interview that you were fired from 2 retail stores right before launching the Theo and Harris journey.
Both are right here.
Is that why you lived with your parents for so long?
Yeah. No, I lived with my parents for so long because I have an unhealthy dependency on my parents.
But no,
you know what's funny? Between Christmas and New Year's, I've slept at my parents' house 4 or 5 times.
Oh man, you guys must have been getting wasted.
Yeah, well, that's what happens.
White girl wasted.
Hang out. Yeah. My dad and I open up great wine. We drink. We watch a movie. We bullshit. And then I'm like, I can't go home. And he's like, go crash in the bedroom. It's my childhood bedroom.
Your
is
sheets
the
are still there.
It's nice that he hasn't turned it into a model train yard or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So being fired was the catalyst, though, to start your own business. And I'm impressed that you've led this team from its inception without a partner. However, in an earlier interview, you alluded to how you originally sought out a partner, but that idea ended with a quote-unquote argument, presumably with a potential partner. Can you give us the dirty details of that falling out?
Yeah,
sure. You don't have to name names, but we strongly encourage it.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Long story short, anyone who has been in business for themselves knows that it's a very lonely experience. It's very lonely, and you would love to have someone to do it with. But unless 1 + 1 = 3, you can't. All right, period, end. Being lonely is not a good enough reason to have a partner. Okay, so I was speaking to someone that I wanted to start the company with, and the terms were basically, I'll put up all the money. I put up my birthday money. The person was actually significantly older than I was too. I'm sure he had more money than I did. It was, my concept, but it wasn't very unique, so I wouldn't take ownership over the concept, but I take ownership over the seed capital and over the organization of the business, right? Getting the website up and all that stuff, sourcing all the inventory, and the delegation of responsibility was that he would need to maintain an active social profile, right? Instagram at the time. And then as the company grew, that would also be a role at the other social platforms. And he was lying about doing it. And I said, this was 3 weeks into this exploratory, partnership, or exploratory relationship that would at some point equal partnership investing. into a worthless company, mind you. And I said 3 weeks in, I said, if you're lying 3 weeks in over dollars, how are you going to handle millions of dollars? You're fired. And that's it. Termination with cause.
Do you see yourself ever like picking up a partner in the future, maybe, or is it kind of staying the way it is?
No. I mean, at my ad firm, I could see picking up another partner. Michael's a partner in that firm as well. I could see picking up another partner that, that had really deep, connections on the business development end.
What decisions have turned out to be winning changes for the T&H team?
Well, two things, and they're both the same, really. It was In the Metal. In the Metal was an online series. It was a YouTube series that was super targeted. It was not popular by the stats, but it was super deep. The people that would watch it, if our normal audience was 10,000 people in a video, In the Metal would get 4,000 views. But it didn't matter because it was our most profitable series. People would sit there and watch and just buy fucking watches, man. It was the best. It was the fucking best.
And when did you start that series?
That was, probably 2 years into the business. And that's when the business started taking off. And then I took that same, that's where I learned to storytell, learn to write, from, it's not creative because creative doesn't have to have a purpose. It was to sell shit. I learned how to sell shit, And then I took that skill and then started making commercials for the big brands like Omega. And that was our first one. And
this business is not just a shop though. It's a content generating powerhouse. You have nearly 30 million views on YouTube and put out several videos a week. Do you have any groupies?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we have groupies.
What's your best fan experience?
Oh my God. Oh geez. Oh God. I'll tell you this. I tell you that for a long stretch in my life while I was dating, I would very intentionally, because I'm not famous by any stretch of the imagination, but if I'm in a financial area, in a corporate area, around happy hour, the odds of a watch YouTuber getting recognized, like myself, are very high. So I would tell girls to meet me downtown, like in the financial district, around 5 o'clock, and I was a fucking celebrity.
That's a pretty skeezy move.
And I was like, I'm so sorry. This happens sometimes. It's so silly.
Wow.
Okay.
This is the game he was talking about.
So when I tell my fans, you don't know what you mean to me, they don't know what they mean to me.
Yeah, you're just here to pick up chicks. So the flip side.
I'm here for the booze and the women.
The flip side of that, what is the worst, cringiest fan experience?
I've had, borderline stalkers.
Oh, really?
Fuck, are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow, like The Watcher?
I couldn't even get into it. I mean, one of them ended in oh my God, man. I was bad. So bad.
Like a restraining order?
Guy pulled a gun out at a restaurant.
Wow. You pulled a gun out?
A guy did.
A guy pulled a gun out on you?
No, not on me. On the person I was with.
You're fucking kidding me.
Oh, yeah.
Do we really want this podcast to take off?
Yeah.
Wait, so can you, what are you willing to share?
What am I willing to share? Interesting. I mean, okay. I mean, I can kind of tell the story.
Yes, please.
It steps on a couple people's toes, but I can tell it in a way. Okay, let me try. Long story short, met with a client. Was fun. My dad has a remarkable sense for people. It's bizarre. And I have a good sense for people. My dad has, it's sixth sense.
He's in sales though, right?
My dad, super indirectly, but yes. I mean, technically speaking, he's in sales. Yeah. You know why? It's because my dad grew up in East New York. So my dad walks into every social situation like you're a scumbag that wants to steal from him.
Oh, okay.
So he always assumes the worst.
That's healthy.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Except he never gets hurt.
That's true.
Kids from the suburbs do.
You have high hopes and low expectations. That's how I get through life.
So we had lunch, and we had lunch, and the guy was a big fan of the channel. Spoke. The guy was a big fan. My dad called me to say hello. He didn't know where I was. So we were drinking. So I clicked FaceTime and said, "Oh, say hello to this guy. He's a big fan." And we hung up the phone. My dad said, "Get the fuck out of there." And my dad's never said that before. I said, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Something's wrong." I was like, "What the fuck?" I didn't listen. I saw, again, I'm not oblivious. I mean, but I saw nothing wrong. But he saw something, maybe a frantic energy. He saw something. Long story short, a couple of other people came, 2 women. and he one was with me, one was with him. It was actually his wife. The wife went home, so now it's the three of us having drinks, and he like assaulted the girl that I was with. Yeah, he assaulted her. So I didn't know that. Obviously, I was in the bathroom. So, I'm sorry. And then as he freaked out, he pulled up his shirt and had a gun and pulled it out and put it on the table either as an intimidation tactic to the girl or as a because he's drunk and he thinks the guns are cool. I don't know. I was always taught that if you show somebody a gun, you better be shooting them. You know, the guns aren't a fun thing to just show around, right? Unless it's hobbyists, you know. Anyway, I came back to the table. The girl was, you know, like, let's get the fuck out of here. And I was like, all right. It was super weird. On the way to the car, she starts crying. You know, I'm like, what the fuck happened?
It's fucking crazy.
She starts telling me the story. The story got worse over the course of the next couple of days, but I knew it was true. This girl was, you know, super reliable, you know, and I knew it was true for sure because only 10 minutes after leaving, he called me, and it was a check. He was checking in to see if I heard anything.
Yeah.
And
what'd she say? What'd she say to you?
Oh, you know, she got a little weird, right? She got a little bit weird.
She seemed emotional.
I don't think she's good for you. You know, she was getting buggy. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Yeah. And if it was the restaurant was a family restaurant of his. So otherwise, I would have wanted to see the tape, but I knew they deleted it already.
Yeah. They were, even if they didn't, they're not going to show it.
She wasn't lying.
Fucking weird.
Fucking crazy.
So that's
was that in West?
And that's why I don't meet with, like, the fact that you guys are in my apartment. Like, you seem nice on Instagram, and I listen to you guys. I vetted you to the degree that I thought you guys were cool. But
we got a SWAT team ready to rock you right now. Actually,
wait. He thought we're cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
But I do not meet with people ever.
So was that in like fucking Westfield here, or was that like...
It was in New Jersey.
Okay.
It was in New Jersey.
Sheesh. Yeah,
Jesus
Jersey's
Christ.
a weird fucking place, man.
Yeah. What was that stink that I smelled on the way in?
Yeah, it was New Jersey.
It smelled like a paper mill or something. You said.
I don't know. It's a weird combination of shit.
Okay. So blah 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 blah. Where are we at? Okay.
Fan question.
Oh, this is a good one for you, buddy.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So.
I hope you're ready.
There is a super fan of yours in Austin that couldn't be here, but we recorded.
This is a video of the guy who molested the girl saying hello. Like, oh my god!
Yeah,
we did deep research.
So this is a super fan of yours in Austin that couldn't be here, so we recorded a question he had for you.
It's terrific.
So let's
Very interesting.
get that going because this is almost deleted it.
Jesus, bro, you almost blew it.
Hello, Christian. I am here today because I am an absolute tremendous fan. Could not be there in person, but I am there in spirit. Wanted to ask you, there are some thinkers of the watch and certain communities who talk about watch spirituality and the amazing and divine fabric of life that watch wielders and sellers possess through their fingertips. What I want to know from you is if you think about how watches cannot be explained by science or craftsmanship, but merely reflect the immortal power of the cosmos. Do you see that when you think of time, how it's shifting? And do you take your millions of dollars of merchandise that you have accumulated through pure sort of spiritual power and meditate on this grand instrument, these grand instruments? Do you?
Yeah, I'll tell you this. So the answer is no. I don't. When I sit with my grandfather, who I'm very close with, and we talk about watches, which is very, very rarely, it is never about the material. And it's not even about the quality of the watch. He doesn't care about that either. We got him a Patek and he never wears it. But it is only about what you're discussing. It is only about time. And for him, who's had a hard life, you know, for many people who have experienced a lot, you know, the sweet sometimes but pain of time, and this, you know, this, it's certainly not about watches. It's certainly about something much greater.
Philosophy of time.
And he's you know, he's not an educated guy, so he couldn't express completely what he was probably thinking.
It's
but
like
you
a Big
can
Lebowski
tell,
type of...
yeah, right. But you can definitely tell that there's something much more true, you know, in a real sense, going on in his mind when we discuss watches. Yeah, I'm just not that wise yet.
Damn, that just put the fucking podcast in a different element.
Me neither.
Right there,
me
dude.
neither.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take a left turn here.
Let's do it.
You know, and I've seen you know, sometimes you get a few hater comments on social media and stuff like that, and I think even in one interview you described yourself as a hateable guy.
Yeah.
And I want to read the quote because it's kind of funny. You said, "I'm a hateable guy. I have comically large hair.
Yes.
I'm decent looking, not super good looking, but decent. I'm 25, doing pretty well." And that's a very hateable recipe. So how do you deal with those haters?
I mean, you know, the truth is, I like the best example would be through like, you know, Reddit every once in a while when we'll catch some shit, you know, even when there is fire beneath the smoke, even if I said something wrong or said something obnoxious, which I do. I mean, I don't know how many thousands of hours of me talking from 19 to 27 are available online, right? Of course you say some stupid shit, you know? So even then, you can tell when the reaction is disproportionate, you know? So I try to look and you know, say, okay, I can learn from that. That was wrong. It's not my fault that they hate me so much. You know, it's too much. They hate me too much for what I did or said. But you know, I try to find the reason behind it, and the truth is, many people are just deeply sad. They're deeply sad, and I deal with it in all aspects of business all the time. People are very sad. You know, it's the truth. You know, and I think that's why Liquor Run resonates with the series with my dad resonates with so many people, is because I think that, you know, a lot of the reason the room for sadness, you know, is made by a lot of times the absence of a good relationship with your family. I think a lot of the time, and my dad had a bad relationship with his family, but he managed to do the opposite for me. So a lot of people will either say, "Wow, that reminds me of my father, and I miss him so much," or "This reminds me of what was missing from my life this whole time, and I hope to give this to my son one day." And I think that if you don't have that sadness, your life is just, I mean, clearly so much better, but so much more rational. It's so much easier. When someone does something wrong, you don't hate them with your entire body. It's just, yeah, you should have said that. That was a stupid jerk thing to say, which is how I feel, you know? And that's it.
All right. Next question, though. Some of the comments we've seen, some of the hate comments that we've seen, surround the pricing of your inventory. For example, I've heard a comment that Theo and Harris is selling a modern DJ that has signs of water damage as quote unquote patinaed for $8.5K. What are the challenges of pricing in the secondary market when prices seem to be all over the place?
That was pretty recently. Wasn't that pretty recently?
I think so.
I think I just sold that watch literally yesterday. I'm not even kidding.
For how much?
8,000. 81. Yeah. I think that, you know, the way I look at it is what is your point of reference? If you're referencing, you know, client to client, like Facebook groups, we're very high. If you're referencing small shops, we're probably somewhere in ballpark. If you're referencing real shops, our real competitors, we're under. So, I mean, if you see some of the prices that our competitors put up, you know, I say, wow, that's you know, it's you know, even I feel like that's kind of crazy sometimes, you know. So it's a matter of what's your point of reference. I mean, we're a real retail store with hundreds of thousands of dollars in overhead. I mean, what do you expect us to sell it for?
So, like in terms of that kind of like pricing and stuff, what do you think? What do you when you're doing your pricing? What do you kind of picture as your value add in terms of your business?
Well. First, the pricing itself, the pricing system is I'll look up all the comps. Let's say on Chrono 24, for instance, or wherever I may do it, and I'll say, okay, the reasonable range, not the range, like cutting out the bullshit and cutting out the bullshit on both ends. The reasonable range, and where do I feel at what percentile do I feel like this watch stacks up in that reasonable range?
Are you the final say in the buy, or do you have someone else that's
no?
Like
I'm final say buy and sale.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it kind of sounds
it's
like
not very labor intensive.
So I guess kind of what I'm getting at is like what is we have the watch as like the physical product, and then there's sort of like the sort of out there like intellectual product of like what is Theo and Harris? What do you bring to the equation?
I bring to the equation exactly what I as a collector have always missed, because I don't get to buy from retailers, right? Or when I do, I buy as a dealer to dealer, and it's a very empty experience. Even when it's safe, which is not always safe for regular Joe Blow, right? But for me, because I'm a dealer, I'm doing it. But it's so anticlimactic, I find, and it's so just not only risky. Even put the risk aside, and there's plenty of risk when you're dealing with an individual, and not a company. But I mean, even my GMT, it was only cool because I got to go out with my dad after and have wine. But the actual sale experience is horrible. Just like every other watch I have, it's horrible.
Did you buy that new at retail?
No, he bought it.
No, it's 2014.
Dealer.
He bought it from you.
He bought it from me, yeah. He bought the one I got from the agent. Yeah.
The watch is
There's a running joke
2014.
That
it was the first one.
I got a Pepsi at retail, and the running joke that this fucker concocted that still plagues me to this day is that I flipped it immediately.
He
and
totally
now I have
did.
A fucking
He's got a
fake
Chinese
Pepsi.
super fake
That's
that he wears around, and yeah. Good for you, buddy, for making so much extra money.
Yeah. Well, I wish I did, because that was $30K at the
It bought
height.
you that engagement ring, man. And that whole trip.
Yep, that's true. So back to the show. How do you think the Theo and Harris channel is different from other watch-related channels, and how would you describe who your audience is?
Good question. It's different. I mean, in every measurable way. Look at our approach. I mean, it's all banter. It's no specs virtually. Oftentimes we're incomplete in even our set of facts. I mean, it's the truth. I mean, the other day, here's a good example. A good example of that is the other day we were discussing the James Bond releases, the new ones.
I love it.
He's an Omega fanboy.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought my biggest criticism for me is that they didn't like the case back could have been like at an angle where you only see it at an angle like Grand Seiko's now with the lion.
I think it's
don't love the
perfect.
James Bond branding. I like the No Time to Die, which had 007 almost as if it was an issue number. I like that. I don't like the James Bond logo. I just don't.
But they don't have it on the front. It's all on the back.
Yes, I agree with that.
So it's like you only experience it on your own terms, and it's perfect.
Yeah, I think again, but it's like difference in opinion. But I didn't even know that was on the expensive one, on the $230,000 one. I didn't even know it was there, right? Because in the photo I saw it wasn't there. So I didn't even know.
I don't know why they made that one.
Well, I like it. I think it's
The
cool.
$230,000 with the diamonds
I think
and shit?
It's cool, yeah.
Oh my God.
But that happens sometimes, I just didn't even know. And people are like, "Wow, do your research." I'm like, yeah. I mean, I guess you're right. You're right. I should have known that. But on the flip side, everyone here knows that they're not coming to us for a complete set of specs. They're coming for my and Michael's more, critical, kind of just reaction to what's going on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas other guys, I don't find them all that intelligent a lot of the time. I don't. Or if they are, I don't think that's their value add, so that they don't really share it.
Certainly not ours.
Yeah.
How has the Theo and Harris YouTube content evolved over the years?
Obviously, we introduced these brand partnerships with Omega, with Nomos, with Grand Seiko, with all these brands that we're very proud of, and we can only do that not because of our size. Our size isn't our big value add. We only have 131,000 subs compared to our competitors who have hundreds of thousands, some of them even millions, right? That's not our value add. Our value add is that people buy watches for a couple of different reasons. One of them is the specs. That is true. Like the Jack Forrester sort of person. The person that buys a watch from Jack Forrester often did it because they are a very critical, analytical sort of person, right? And that's great. But I think that far more people do it because of a level of just, it's branding, it's emotional connection. And there are different sorts of emotional connection. There's nostalgia, there's aspiration, there's a million different, elixirs to tap into. Brands work with us because we know which elixir to use on their particular campaign. And our competitors don't. That's it.
That's totally how I got into watches, like the stories, the moon watch and everything. Yeah. That's what put me over the edge, I think. So like, have you done any collabs with any other watch channels at all?
No, I was asked this question just a couple weeks ago next to Teddy on a panel we did for Grand Seiko. They asked, why aren't I interested in more collabs? And the truth is, I'm just too lazy. I really mean it. Teddy is out there doing it with producer Michael and with Kevin O'Leary,
Mr. Wonderful.
God bless him.
Mr. FTX.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
God bless them all. God bless him. And clearly it's worked. He's got 10 times the subs that we do. God bless him. But me, I don't know. I've taken the same approach to collabs as I always have with women. Really, I'm not even a joke. Like, I just do not chase anyone. I don't wait on lines. I don't chase. I would rather do without it. I would rather. That's why I don't have a new Rolex. That's why if I want coffee and I go to the store and I see there's a line, I'm just like, okay, I'll get coffee. It's fine. I don't care. I don't want to feel unwanted.
Yeah.
Period.
Do you watch any
No.
other YouTube channels, podcasts, nothing like that? You're just there doing your own thing. And
No, I don't.
so we also heard that you may have some beef with Brodinky. You got any comments on that?
Brodinky? No, I think he's made some fun. Right? I imagine it's a guy. Made some funny fucking shit about me, I think. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen a couple things. I thought they were funny. Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's fine. It's fucking great.
Yeah, you're here after all with us.
Yeah, exactly.
And you've gotten through an hour
I'm
of
not
our
afraid
nonsense.
Of getting made fun of at all.
We're the fucking bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, we really, really
What
are.
was that? We're the bitter pill you have to swallow if you're getting into watches. Last part now, and
Yes.
this is a quick little
Yeah.
section. This is titled "Big Business" on the paper.
It's a bit of a theme for us. Big business.
It's a long. So let's talk about part 3: big business expansion and diversification. Christian, you seem to have a biting ambition because you have multiple businesses and projects going on all at once. Let's dive into what some of these concepts are. You recently started a new business called LMF. What is LMF, and does it stand for Lit Motherfucker?
Listen, motherfuckers.
Motherfuckers. Ooh.
LMF is a creative consultancy and development company, a creative vendor. It is as simple as that, right? We do incredible work. We do brand positioning, brand language, and then we do the creative work, right? So we'll some of our commercials are on NBC, some of our commercials are on other people's YouTube, all over. We work in every space that's not watches. We are in healthcare. We are in journalism. We're in sports. It's a great company. It's a phenomenal company. Yeah.
Was this an offshoot of like Theo and Harris talent?
So,
Like you guys-
basically, when we started doing the brand partnerships with Theo and Harris, and which is a great part of the business, and it's very profitable and all that stuff, I realized, the watch industry is very interesting because while these companies have obviously presence in America, these are not American companies by any stretch of the imagination. These are Swiss companies, and these American corporate structures are weak offshoots. Period. America has very little say. The American executives have very little say in what goes on. So their budgets aren't as large. So yeah, I mean, we do well with them, fine, but nowhere near where other companies that are our clients outside of watches, they deal, because we're dealing with the corporate central.
Yeah.
So we don't deal with Switzerland. Switzerland approves content, but they're not buying. So it's very different. I said pretty early on, I said, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. It works, but not work in the way that I need it to. So I started LMF, and that's it. And the company is fucking phenomenal.
and that's kind of like, are you putting like most of your energy into that now?
I put 90% of my day into LMF.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
you personally have taken a big transition.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's fucking awesome. You know what it's like? You know how exhilarating it is, man? Like, I get an email to sell a watch. That's great. Whatever. It's who cares, right? It's like Captain Ahab. If I can catch a fucking whale,
Yeah.
right? I see that email come up, and they're from the Hearst Corporation, or they're from whoever the fuck,
So
You know
Theo
how
Harris is
exhilarating.
kind of like running itself now, and you're
It's
you're
great. It's
kind of
great.
going after the next big catch.
And
Hence the
it's-
name
elsewhere.
partner.
It's
Yeah.
fucking great.
So you've also diversified into film production, and you've partnered up again with Michael Christie, a familiar face on the TNH show. And y'all released a few shorts like Two's a Company, Three's a Crowd, and Love Magnets. I would assume that these films are in the public access erotica genre. How did you find yourself in that niche?
If Michael and I were gay, our lives would be a hell of a lot easier. All right.
A budding bromance, huh?
Buddy Roy. Exactly.
So how is that, like, is that more of a creative outlet for y'all?
What's
Just,
that?
just like short
short
shorts?
film.
The
Films.
shorts. I mean, it was. We produced more shorts were a way for us to really explore and differentiate in watches and get our name out there. Our clients at LMF, Michael's a partner at LMF. Our clients at LMF, they don't need shorts so much as they need, to storytell in 30 seconds for TV, or they need an internal piece that they know retention will only be 3 minutes. And it's not a short, it's something different. It's more obvious, still very, very artful, but it needs to be more to the point. But in watches, we've got such fucking, latitude to make something that is almost not even about watches, but it's just, it captures the essence. I mean,
I've always kind of like viewed any luxury thing as like more about the story than the product itself.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's got to mean something to someone somewhere for someone to want to spend that kind of money on.
Absolutely.
Where do you see Theo and Harris in 5 years, especially now that you're looking in other realms?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I don't really see it being all that different. I mean, not that different. No. Yeah. It's kind of funny. I mean, it sound like kind of lame, but no, we'll still be on YouTube. We'll probably have to get like a lot of our business is like those 60-second spots in YouTube videos. We do really well with those. So yeah, we probably should get larger so we can make more money off of those. Probably should do that. But no, the business will be very, very similar.
So with you spending so much time on like the new marketing venture, like is Theo and Harris almost more like a fun separate thing for you to do?
No. I mean, Theo and Harris is a very profitable, company that to be ignored would be like, that would be just the height of just, you're an idiot, kind of thing. So I'll never do that. Like, I'm very grateful for the company. I love the company. I love doing YouTube videos. I think it's great. We have a lot of fun. If I didn't have it, I would miss the fuck out of it. 100%.
So like everything you've done here in the past few years, like, is there any advice that you would give to like your younger self or any other like young folks who are looking to get into the game, become entrepreneurs, get in the watch industry, or just start their own business in general?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, geez, what would be advice to, I guess younger self and other entrepreneurs do different things. I mean, if I had advice for my younger self, I'd probably give more just like personal advice, not so much business, because the business, again, for a lot of people, I took a very fast road to like, success. And then for me, a lot of other people that I know did it so much easier. So I'm like, fuck you, meaning fuck you, younger Christian that didn't see the writing on the wall, that being said, yeah, my advice would probably be on the more personal end. I guess on the obvious level, enjoy it, bud. Like these are the good times. These are the good times. I used to make dinner for my college friends at the frat house every Friday night, and those are some of my greatest memories of all time. I had like no money, man, and I used to like fucking cook and drink wine, and I had the fucking best time. Those are the best times of my life.
I could tell you right now, once you get past 25, it's all downhill.
It's all downhill, right? It's like fuck,
Jesus, not to be a downer, but
Jesus Christ.
I know.
So do you see yourself staying in Westfield, New Jersey, or do you want to move operations and move?
No, I'll stay right here. I mean, the furthest I would go would be like, Watchung's like 10 minutes down the road, and you get a larger piece of property for the same amount of money.
Okay.
It's nice over there.
So I think the last question. Yeah. So finally, seeing how it's New Year's Eve, can you invite me and Josh to any cool rich kid parties that you have lined up, dude?
We've got like 45 people coming to my parents' house tonight.
Hey. Can we come?
There you go. You guys head on over.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Hey, thank you so much again for shooting the shit and inviting us to your abode.
Yeah, and Josh, your parents' New Year's party.
Yeah,
and your parents' New Year's party. We'll be there.
Yeah.
And thank you for the Negroni. I am fucking lit.
Yeah. It was great.
Yeah, it was great.
I am LMF. I'm lit motherfucker. Right
lit motherfuckers.
I'm glad I didn't put the scotch on the table because I probably would have had 2 more drinks. That was good. Being outside of an arm's reach was probably a good decision for my day to day.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks,
guys.